Performance, practicality, versatility. It used to be that your car could have any two virtues, but never all three. Enter this, the Mercedes-Benz GLA45 AMG, a car that on the face of it ticks all three boxes. But is it a legitimate triple threat? The standard GLA launched earlier this year and is essentially a jacked up version of the Mercedes A-Class hatchback. In fact, much of the car is shared with the A, B and CLA class cars due to Mercedes' MFA modular platform. At its core, the GLA is a true crossover. It's a part hatchback, part SUV. It's a bit taller than the A-Class and looks a bit thinner because of it. The GLA45 gets a much more aggressive look thanks to revised front and rear bars. There's also an optional spoiler package that gives you these neat looking canards here and a large rear wing. But our car is the limited edition one, which gives you some neat red highlights and questionable stickers. Let's take a look inside. It's very familiar Mercedes-Benz in here. The GLA does miss out on the lovely new C-Class style dash layout, but you do get the new look vents and aircon, plus the centre mounted command screen, which, despite some people saying looks like a tacked on iPad afterthought, actually works quite well. Some of the switches are common to lesser GLA models, but to remind you that you're in the top spec AMG, you've got these great firm Recaro sport seats, more stickers, carbon fibre and the plaque, and this fantastic half Alcantara steering wheel. Let's check out the back. Now the slightly taller ride height does make it pretty easy to get in and out of, and well, there's more room back here than you would have thought. Certainly enough headroom and legroom for tall adults, even some cup holders. Being a hatchback, the boot is of reasonable size at 420 litres. The seats fold, there's even a handy ski port. So far we're looking pretty good. Turn the key in the GLA and you're greeted immediately with this lovely little burble. It certainly sounds like there's something very potent under the bonnet. Now ride, well, it's firm, particularly over speed humps. But that's kind of what you signed up for, because after all, this is the AMG. The gearbox can feel a little bit hesitant when you're coming from a stop-start standstill or when switching from reverse to drive in either a parallel park or three-point turn. But for mine, that's more of a gripe with Mercedes in general and not specific to the GLA. But overall, you've got great visibility, good glass house, and that slightly higher riding position does make the GLA pretty practical in town. Now, dealing with day-to-day life, obviously, the compact size of the GLA does come in quite handy, particularly if you need to parallel park. And of course, the AMG 45 does have automated parking to make city living a bit easier. I never get sick of this. That is a tight park, Mercedes. Select D. Never get sick of that. There's your hesitation in your gear shifting. But you've bought the AMG because performance is important. So, how does it go at the track? Being on the circuit gives us a chance to explore the 265 kilowatts we've got on tap from the little 4-cylinder turbo up front. Now you do sit a bit higher in the GLA as you do in a standard A45, but it actually handles these corners really well. It's compliant enough to handle the ripple strips and certainly tight enough to not make you feel like you're going to fall over. Now the GLA touring car, well, perhaps not, but if you had one of these and wanted to take part in regular driver training or even some club track days, it's a lot of fun and it's certainly capable. Leave the track and head out here to the countryside and the little GLA45 is equally at home. Whether you're throwing it through some tight twisties or even some open sweepers like we are now, there's lots of fun to be had. Yes, there is some turbo lag down low, but you can adjust your driving style to make it not so noticeable and it certainly won't impede on your fun. I don't really need this thing on anymore, do I? Ugh. Well, so far for practicality and performance, the little GLA45 is looking pretty good. But what about versatility? This is a 2-litre turbocharged all-wheel drive car. So if it's as good as Mercedes-Benz say it is, well, it's going to be able to keep up with that on this.
You lost, Woody. No coffee shops out here, mate. 2X that way. What are you doing?
Be fair. I know you've got the rally king of the roads. But I think the GLA45's pretty good.
All right, well, if you can, there's a gravel road right there. What do you say, initial D rules?
Okay, you set the pace, I'll leave a gap and won't let you out of my sight. I don't want any stone chips on my lovely paint or stickers.
They're nice stickers.
Thanks, mate.
All right, let's do this.
Now the GLA is no rally car, but it is handling this gravel quite well. There's a little bit of understeer, but you know what? It certainly feels all right on here. And we're not really letting the WRX get too far away, given that, well, that's what this thing does. Oh, and it will slide around if pushed quite hard and still feels pretty good.
Well, even a quick little test like this, and the Subaru shows that it's not just a wing on the back. This thing is properly capable. It feels really good. But James is right there in the rear view the whole time. I can see his lights cutting through the dust. And how many GLA owners are going to do this? Not many.
It's a lot of fun too. Like the Mercedes driver assists are still there, making sure that we don't do any crazy maneuvers, but we're still having a lot of fun and not letting the pesky Subaru get too far away, given I can't see a thing. Well, when it's all said and done, the GLA45 really is a car that's all about compromise. It's not the best hot hatch, it's not the best rally car, but to say that it's the jack of all trades and master of none would be really unfair. We've thrown a lot of challenges at this car today, and to be honest, it's been pretty good at all of them. If you can live with those compromises and don't mind the AMG badge on the side and like a bit of a pop and a crackle from the exhaust, and given the fact that it costs around $80,000, we think the package as a whole is pretty impressive. So a legitimate triple threat? Well, I say yes.